Do you want to hear my notes from re-listening to the Zodiac episode? Do you want to hear them?
I do.
It was 1. You always zigzag when you're getting shot at.
Yeah, that's true. Well, boys, Tyler brought it to my attention that this beast was already solved. I didn't fucking believe it, so I went and looked into it, and there has been an update. Now, it's a pack of internet sleuths that think they've solved this. I call them internet sleuths, but they have like an organization. They call themselves the Case Breakers.
So generic.
Yeah, our name's better.
You should see their website, though. Go to casebreakers.org. Actually, right now, both of them. It pisses me off. You'll see why as soon as you open it up.
This domain is for sale.
That's what I got too.
Hold on. How much does casebreakers.org cost?
I don't know, but it's the casebreakers.org going on.
Oh, I don't care if I can get people there because they forgot to type the.
But did you see the website? What it says? Case Breakers, solving the world's greatest mysteries. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
An elite team of private detectives.
What if balloons are aliens? Maybe that's the key component we're missing.
Cover-ups.
John's guilty.
Mysteries that need to be solved.
Maybe Mormons need mountains.
Richard, shut up.
Yeah, they're okay. They call themselves Case Breakers. They are a 40-member team led by retired FBI agents and experts in forensics, all sorts of different experts. Okay. They're led by retired FBI detective Thomas J. Colbert. And I don't know if that's Colbert, but I think I'm going to keep saying Colbert because it's familiar to me. Now, like I said, if you go to their website, you can see their membership if you look at it, and it seems impressive. Like, it seems very like cool. Bunch of ex-FBI, ex-CIA, ex-fucking all sorts of crazy high titles.
Wait, where does it show their people?
If you look, it says like our members or contact us or something like that.
Meet the team.
Yeah, I'm on contact us. I'm gonna write a strongly worded email that just says, "How dare you?"
Wait, but meet the team doesn't even show. Like, show me pictures. Show me pictures of these people.
Yeah, give me addresses. Tell me where their kids go to school.
Thank you.
Like you said, they're looking into a bunch of cases that we already solved, like DB Cooper and Jimmy Hoffa.
Honestly, though, this is really cool that they have such a lot. But wait, okay. I wish I would have known them in advance because I want to look at their YouTube channel and know if it's just like, I want to know if every single person on this Meet the Team list like sits around a fucking table while they do this YouTube channel, or if it's just like the guy that's a 19-year diver only gets invited when there's water involved.
I don't know, man. This dude actually worked on the DB Cooper case.
Well, they never solved it.
Yeah, that's a good point. These are just a bunch of failures that are like, no, we're not. And
or these guys know the truth and they're doing their best to keep it covered up for years to come.
Oh, they're obfuscating the evidence. That's what I think too.
From what I can read, I didn't go through the website too deeply, but it's all pro bono, on their own dime, on their own time. Most of the investigation is on their own dime, and they actually do get some donations.
Chumps.
They seem like a bunch of people trying to do the right thing, but they just haven't been exposed to this podcast yet. And that's their problem. They'd be saving a bunch of money, saving a bunch of time. They just have to come on over to private things. All right.
Yeah. And
we should try and invite one of these guys on the show. And if we can do it without them realizing the comedic standpoint, that would be even better.
That's your job. Look at me.
Well, We'll ask ex-FBI agent Donald Max Noel, who apprehended the Unabomber.
All I'm saying is they just have to be exposed to this our stuff, and then they could go home. They could go spend some time with their grandchildren. You know what I mean? Play a little baseball. Right now, they're just like, sorry, little one. Grandpa would love to play some baseball with you, but he's too busy trying to figure out who vivisected the Black Dahlia. So I just want to help these guys out. So we're going to go over their little theory here. Okay. So and since we just released Zodiac to the public, I thought it was perfect time to do this. So on October 6th, 2021, this is 6 months after we already solved it. So the Case Breakers released a press release stating they think they've solved the Zodiac. They fingered a recently deceased Air Force veteran by the name
gross.
of Gary Francis Poste. Yes, I knew that was coming.
He was dead?
Yeah. Yeah, he was dead and they fingered the shit.
They're
out of
FBI. They should know that's illegal.
him.
Okay, listen. I don't want to talk shit on them, but
I do. They fingered a dead guy.
I just want to state for the record that on their About Us page, they listed like 30 people. All of their videos have 2 people in it.
And nowhere did they say they were into hand stuff with corpses.
True. No hand jobs since high school. Everybody knows that. That's fucked up.
No, is this what you tell girls? Anyways,
No, women.
Girls are in high school. Get it right. Yeah, we'll get into the whole validity of what I think of there in a little bit. So the guy they say is a guy named Gary Francis Poste, Air Force veteran. He died in 2018 at the age of 80. Zodiac has only been linked to 5 murders, but the case breakers think Poste could have been responsible for at least 10. In 1970, so we'll talk a little bit about this guy. So in 1970, Poste moved to Groveland, California after marrying an unnamed woman who already had a child. And at some point, Poste began recruiting young men in their late teens and early 20s to start a little criminal gang in Groveland. They made sure to include that there was no homo, okay? He wasn't interested in fucking them. He just wanted them to be part of his gang.
Is that why they fingered his ass when he died?
Yeah, but they yelled no homo, so it was fine.
Yeah, they were like, okay, starting the autopsy, no homo. Yep, this was a gay man.
Okay, I need to just keep harping on the fact that this page makes no sense. I'm looking at their YouTube channel. They have a fuck ton of videos. Well, not a fuck ton. They have like 25 videos from 4 years ago. Nothing. Then they started posting 5 months ago. They have like 2,000 subscribers with a total of 28 videos. What the fuck is going on? How are these the people that just like broke the video, yet their YouTube says nothing about the Zodiac killer? Something doesn't make sense here.
There's a lot that doesn't make sense. You'll see.
Yeah.
So Poste and his 10 gang member team, they call themselves the Posse. Poste would take these 10 guys for training in the mountains where he would teach them to, quote, hike and kill. The Posse claimed that they were trained to be cold-blooded killers in those mountains. There's one guy that tried to escape. Ex-member of the Posse said that Poste killed animals just to die so he could watch them die and to make himself feel better. For what? I don't know, but that's what he said. Casebreaker leader Colbert said, quote, he taught them how to turn a pipe bomb into a bomb that would blow up a building. If cops moved into town, he would have the Posse throw rocks at their windows to get them to move out. He was involved in loaning guns to suicidal people in town, end quote. So scary dude. You know, this Poste guy's not a fucking nice guy. I'll give him
Wait,
that.
how do you loan a gun to someone suicidal? Because if you loan a gun to a serial killer, they're gonna go kill someone. They can give it back. If you loan a gun to someone who's suicidal, that shit's gone. Like the police just keep that.
It's in the lockup, but unless you write like a post-it note saying "give back to Gary,"
Yeah, that would probably help.
you know, this is Gary's.
Yeah,
property of Gary.
Yeah,
Gary.
yeah.
Oh no, he stole that from me, sir. This is the 8th person you said stole a gun from you.
Right. It's probably got like a
Commit suicide.
super like something like super unwieldy tied to it, like a hall pass or something. So it's just got like a whole cutting board, like just like zip tied
Backstage pass.
the trigger guard. Yeah.
So even in 2016, this guy was still fucking up to no good. He was charged for pushing his wife down the stairs and breaking her hip. She was like in her 70s. He was almost 80. He was like 78. And he was put in jail for this.
Did she deserve it though?
Yeah, probably. She was 74. I'm sure she made the apple pie incorrectly or something.
Yeah.
This guy was an abusive douchebag his whole life, but he was still being an asshole right to the end, right? And he was found mentally incompetent to stand trial. So he died in a state hospital of sepsis, dysphagia, and vascular dementia, which I don't even know what the fuck that means. Basically died of old age is what I can gather from the whole thing. A few years before he died, Poste was said to have given away many of his guns, which had been sitting in basements around Groveland for the past 5 years. So I guess he saw the end coming and said, here, this is why he was lending guns to people who are suicidal. He was just giving them away. The case breakers are trying to run the guns through forensics to figure out the ballistics, if any of them match any of the Zodiac killing over the years. They haven't done that yet, or not that I know of. They also found Gary's green room at his house. which contents have been given to 3 different teams to sift through, looking for more evidence that Poste is definitively the Zodiac. So that hasn't been completed.
His
yet.
green room? Did he do like shows in his living room?
Yeah, and he just had a little back. I believe that means like a dark room or something. I don't know. I don't know what that means. A green room must be a bunch of fucking like storage area or something.
Interesting.
So they call it a green room.
Could it be like a greenhouse except inside?
Maybe, but they had a bunch of evidence in there. They said they wanted to sift through. So cool. They haven't done that part yet, or at least they haven't said that they have.
I think they just need more money. I'm gonna make a donation. Richard, what's your routing number for your bank?
666.
That's too short, but I'll get it back from you later.
6.
Oh, yeah, that's all I needed was one more 6.
All right. Poste, these guys aren't the first people to accuse Poste. The reason he was even on their radars because other people have accused Poste of being the Zodiac many times over the years. Poste's former daughter-in-law, Michelle Wynn, also accused him of being the serial killer. She said he was abusive his whole life, and it wouldn't surprise her. She said, I think he's him for sure. It makes the most sense. The real reason Poste was looked at by the case breakers as Zodiac was because one of his members of the Poste posse, Chris Avery, this is the guy that escaped. He found some sketches of the Zodiac in Poste's things, and he straight up asked him, dude, are you the Zodiac? Apparently, according to Avery, Poste's reaction was to attack Avery with a hammer. Thank God Avery was like 20 years younger than him and he got away. This was 2010, so it's a while ago. Poste was still in his 60s, I guess. Right after Poste's hammer attack, Avery told the police and about the attack and his friend in the media about the encounter. Avery's friend was a guy named David Julin, who is a Peabody winning TV journalist. All right. Apparently he has a book about Poste coming out as the killer as well. The book claims that Poste didn't stop killing after the Zodiac. He just moved to Tahoe and police stopped believing the Zodiac was messaging. Some of the Zodiac's other letters were deciphered by Julin by using Poste's name. And he claims that the woman named Donna Lass was murdered by Poste. Poste apparently hung her dead body in a tree near Tahoe near something called Zephyr Cove. Julin went looking actually after he deciphered a bunch of shit here, but he never actually found any bodies, just old bear caches that could or could not be the final resting spot for Donna Lass. Now, a bear cache is like if you want to hide your gear and so bears don't eat it, you like rope it up to the top of a tree, like you put it in a sack. So they found some old things like that. And Poste apparently in these Zodiac letters said she's hanging from a tree, but I mean, it was what, 2010 or something like that. It had been like 40 years since anything happened, or 35 years. So they could have just disintegrated and scattered bones and whatever, or it just never happened. Avery says that after the encounter, he fled Groveland and he went to Montana to start a new life outside of the influence of Poste. And after the announcement by the case breakers, the media scoured the internet for more Gary Poste, and they came across a California resident named Glynn Barnes. Glynn, Glynn, Glynn.
Ew, that's an ugly name.
Yeah, it's not a good name. It's not even easy to say. Then November 2018, Barnes posted a few photos of he and Poste on Facebook. This was 2018, before any of the case breaker shit. So they went back and they found some old posts with Gary Poste on it. It's fucking confusing saying Poste. The photos are captioned with "My last visit with old man, Gary Poste. Zodiac ? God dang, I miss you, old man." So this is just after he died. I guess this guy but why would he put the Zodiac ? So random, unless he knew something. All right. People have tried to interview Glynn Barnes about this, and he claims that he's under an NDA and will someday reveal the full extent of what he knows. So it's at this point, it's unclear. I don't know who he's got an NDA with.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Exactly. Maybe somebody's writing a book and they're saying you can't do this until I release the book or something. I don't fucking know. He won't say. Anyways, hopefully he talks soon so we can get whatever he has on there. This is where it gets really fucking funny. So why do the case breakers think they have their man? Well, there's 3 major, and I say minor, clues. One of the clues that led them to identifying Poste as Zodiac was comparing the many photos of Poste that they have from his green room, apparently, and other places, with the SFPD police sketch that looks like RJ.
Oh no, a white man with glasses. It must be him.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Poste had a scar on his forehead from an accident in 1959. That if you look at the police sketch, it kind of looks like the sketch has the same scar across his forehead. But like,
I mean, we also talked the most amount of shit on how this sketch was just garbage, right? I mean, it wasn't even symmetrical. Yeah. There's that also, the circle, that was not a fucking scar. That was just like dude's wrinkles.
It's on the top part of his head. If you look at it, put it this way, he got the fucking scar from drinking and driving. It was a pretty bad goddamn scar. His buddy that was with him in the car died. He got head scars, and they kind of look like the sketch, but it might ring true. But case breakers are calling this irrefutable.
But did he wear glasses back then?
Yeah, no, the sketch is bullshit thing, because that's just like shitty forehead wrinkles. Like, I can't trust that, because I know I said this before, the glasses aren't even fucking right. Like, nobody has glasses with different shaped lenses. This
is my issue, right? Is they're talking about like this dude has a scar on his face. Okay, but from the same time period, if you're saying it matches up, look at the dude's fucking nose. Nothing like it. Dude's not even wearing glasses. He has facial hair. No facial hair described. Like, what the fuck is it? His hair is long. Like,
yeah, the chin's not even close. That dude's got no chin.
Like, let me take one body part throughout this guy's entire fucking life and see if I can jumble it together and be like, yes, he had glasses when he was fucking 80. He must be the Zodiac killer.
Exactly. They say it's irrefutable, though. After looking at that, refute, I will. It could just be a shitty sketch artist, like we talked about in the episode. It doesn't have to be, or a fucking coincidence. Like, I'm sorry, that's a head wrinkle. Come on, get the fuck out of here. No witness, not one of the witnesses, anybody that survived or saw Zodiac ever mentioned the Zodiac's forehead having a scar. So the fact that this guy had scars on his forehead should be a deterrent that it is this guy. That is what I say to the whole thing. But irrefutable, FBI agents, whatever you got to say. All right, so that's clue number one that makes it it has to be Poste. Clue number two, which I do find very interesting, and this might be the biggest clue to Poste, focused on the decoding of the ciphers, and they looked into all the 19 pieces of mail that are suspected of being from the Zodiac. There's only 4 ciphers, but they got a bunch of other mail from the Zodiac. So apparently, if you use Poste's name as a decoder for the ciphers after they're already solved the first time, like, you remember how the 2 first ones are solved and the last 2 weren't solved? Well, if you take Poste's name and you eliminate his letters or something, they don't really explain exactly how they did it. You eliminate his letters from the name, it gives you a second message. And this explains why he spelled paradise wrong and a bunch of other things wrong, because the message would be all fucked up. Remember, I was making fun of him for like, you could make codes, but you can't even spell. Get the fuck out of here. But that explains why it doesn't spell. But they're not releasing, like, there's supposed to be messages within messages, but they're not releasing exactly what they found out here. Unless I can read what the actual translation now is, I can't really say that sounds real or doesn't. I don't know how many leaps in logic this guy used, because like, you could make it sound like anything. Remember I told you the 13 letter one could like be a substitution code for Alfred E. Newman. You can make it work whatever way you want. If you have confirmation bias and you think this is the guy, you'll make it the guy. Now, as far as I can see, Z13 and 32 still haven't been solved, but some people have claimed that they have been solved. But the FBI, the actual FBI, not these case breakers, they haven't acknowledged that those 2 have been solved yet. So I'd love to see what these case breakers came up with, but we got nothing along those lines yet. It seems pretty compelling. If they have something cool there, perfect.
I think you should stop giving them so much credit.
Oh, I know. I'm trying to play in the middle, but I mean, I think they're horseshit.
Does it say anywhere what this Gary Poste did for a living? Like,
I will tell you, don't look it up. Don't look it up, you sack of shit, because it's going to ruin something. If you look this up, good. I'm going to tell you, don't look it up. I'll kill you.
Now I want to know.
I'll tell you very soon. The last piece that links Poste to the Zodiac is Sherry Joe Bates. I don't know if you guys were listening to the episode. Sherry Joe Bates was the she was the one in the library that wasn't fully connected to Zodiac because they weren't 100% sure, but they thought it was him. It was like 7 years prior to the first actual Zodiac. I mentioned her later in the episode just to like, because people think she is or not. She's in the middle. Well, they finally said that for sure Poste is the one that murdered her. I discounted it in the episode because the police said they had another suspect that they thought they did it. They just couldn't prove it. Remember, they found poetry carved in one of the desks, and I just didn't read the poetry because I hate serial killer poems. I'll read it anyway. I'll read it this time. This is what the poem on the desk said. It's entitled "Sick of Living / Unwilling to Die."
Cut. Clean. If red eye clean. Blood spurting, dripping, spilling all over her new dress. Oh well, it was red anyway. Life draining into air, uncertain death, she won't die. This time, someone will find her. Just wait till next time.
Thing. That's his fucking poem. Anyways, I didn't want to read it, but I thought it was so funny. I had to read it again.
Yeah, that I don't think that qualifies as a poem. That's like that has like the cadence and rhythm of a grocery list. That's not what I would call a poem.
I agree. It's terrible, right? When Sherry Joe was murdered, Poste was going to the nearby March Air Force Base for medical checkups. The base and the library were 15 minutes away from each other. Poste wore the same size and style of boots as the prints on the scene. The watch found at the scene had paint spattered on it. Guess what, RJ? Poste was a house painter his whole life after the Air Force.
It didn't mean nothing.
So how long was he in the Air Force?
Oh, incredible.
Long enough to go away a couple times. He did a couple tours. I don't really know the exact amount. He was out by the 1970. So whatever that ends up being.
So I know we're not all the way there yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and say this one's bullshit. I've seen a picture of this man, and now I know he was a fucking house painter. There's no way he was intelligent enough to even do bad codes. Like he beats his wife and is like clearly has some kind of emotional and mental disability. Like that, like just being a house painter is enough to know that he's not even smart enough to be like, this is gonna be cool or anything that a creepy serial killer psychopath would do. It's just a violent piece of shit. Like I'm sure he killed somebody, like, but I don't think he was the mastermind Zodiac killer. Like,
nice piece of shit. Excuse me. Also on the watch, there was some DNA that they want to test against Postes that they recovered before he died. I hope that comes up with some answers for them so they can either A, solve this, or B, like shut the fuck up. But they don't have any money to do any testing, and the FBI won't do it because they said it definitively Zodiac has nothing to do with Sherry Joe Bates. So they're not going to do it. Local code case isn't convinced either. So like I said, they have to get their own DNA money, which, hey man, if they want to do that and they can get through it, perfect.
Well, yeah, they gotta bust their ass and put in the work to make their money like we do. You got to solve a whole bunch of unrelated mysteries to have the money to go back and solve another mystery. We've learned that the hard way.
Yeah. So I'm not really convinced about this whole thing, and neither is ZodiacKiller.com's operator and author of Zodiac Killer, Just the Facts, Tom Voigt. He legit calls the claims hot garbage, which I find hilarious. Voigt says that he's been looking into the Zodiac for over 25 years, and he has never heard of any of the people that are listed on the Casebreakers website. Can they be experts if Mr. Voigt's never heard of them? Yes, but according to him, no.
I would say they can be, but I agree with the sketchiness. How the fuck do they talk nonstop about DB Cooper 5 years ago, and now all of a sudden there's no like video of their investigation, just like boom, hey, we found the fucking guy. It's like, no, you found some crazy dude on Facebook that wants to be famous and said this dude attacked me with a hammer, he must be the Zodiac killer. It's like, no, I think he's just a painter that went crazy.
Mm-hmm. Voigt tells Rolling Stones that he thinks some dumb intern posted the Casebreakers theory at Fox News, and it spread before any real journalist could take a look at the press release. And Voigt also claims that he's had many fucking theories come by his desk, outrageous or not, but they're all unironically past his desk, like Clint Eastwood, Somebody legit came in and said Clint Eastwood is the fucking Zodiac, or L. Ron Hubbard is the Zodiac. And these people are serious. So he's like, this isn't the first bad one. He said, this is probably the worst suspect I've ever had. And he's talking about Clint Eastwood and all that included in it.
Yeah, I mean, this is why nobody arrests Ted Cruz, because people just make up jokes about the crime. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I'm happy with retiring Ted Cruz in favor of Clint Eastwood, though. There's something very cold and calculating about that man.
He's a sociopath who wants power.
Yeah, I'm happy to believe from now on that Clint Eastwood's the. Did we just solve it now? We resolved it. Clint Eastwood's the Zodiac killer.
No, I got a bit more. We're almost done the little script here, though. Like I said, I'm not convinced. I can tell you guys aren't convinced either.
He's like, do you feel lucky, punk? Then solve this riddle I made up.
Yeah. I still think what our old conclusion is that this is all a bunch of different murders that all got lumped into one by the media wanting to sensationalize the entire thing. Now, could Post be the guy writing the ciphers to the paper? Maybe, he was a radar tech in the army and shit. I don't know. Maybe he knows some sort of codes and stuff.
And here's why no. Because if this dude loved
painted
houses, this shit, when they went through his house, they would have found one. And the minute they found some sort of proof that he wrote, a draft, that he wrote anything in code, they would have blew the fucking lid off this case. If there was real evidence in that so-called green room, we would know about it. They're investigating. They're just hoping this dies off so that the fucking case breakers don't look like idiots.
Yeah, and I'm still looping back to this picture of him. And I know you can't tell based off of just looking at a picture whether or not someone can read, but you get a pretty good idea. And I don't even trust that this man can read well enough to misspell things in a code, much less rearrange the letters intelligently enough to not just be the same word on accident and go, oh crap. I don't think he's very bright.
I put it this way. You're not the only one who thinks this. Rick's not the only one who thinks this. I'm not the only one who thinks this. As of right now, the FBI, the actual real FBI, says that the investigation of the Zodiac killer remains open and unsolved. Here's my favorite part about the whole story, though. Soon as this dropped, the internet took the whole thing as a fucking joke, and they made many memes about the entire thing.
I don't believe the internet would do that.
I'll be posting a bunch of the memes on the Facebook group. My favorite ones are where Post is reviewing other serial killers' movies on IMDb, calling Ted Bundy overrated.
Nice.
Or ones where he's rating Lady Gaga albums, calling her a national treasure, just like him. Or that classic button one where there's two buttons and guys can't figure out which one it says, and one button says Zodiac and the other says Scary Gary, and he doesn't know which one to pick. I love this shit. I find this hilarious. I'm glad the case breakers are out there trying to do something, I guess. But I mean, I don't think this is solved. This is solved by them. It's solved by us a year ago almost now. So thanks, but no thanks, case breakers. Come over to our download our podcast, learn a few things, solve some mysteries, spend some time with your grandchildren. That's all I have to say about these guys.
Yeah, and quit working for free, losers. Speaking of which, is going over old cases that are already apparently solved and working in them for free something that applies to this? Because this sort of feels like overtime.
Yeah, you know what? Here is a check for both of you.
Ooh.
Here is your payment. Since we started, I take all this and bring it to your bank.
Cool. Now, why there's not in place of where it normally would say amount, this says redeemable for one free large pizza, 0 toppings. Now, is that because this is a coupon and not in fact a check, or am I just not understanding?
Who wants breadsticks?
I would like breadsticks.
Oh,
do you have one of those too?
Breadsticks right now.
I just watched Private Dicks, and I think RJ's the funniest.
What? Come on.
Hey there, all you private dickheads. That's probably not the name we're gonna stick with. Anyways, RJ here.
I am here to tell you thank you for listening to another episode of Private Dicks. If you liked what you heard, go on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere they take your reviews, drop us 5 stars, say something nice. Also, what you just heard was from last season. If you want current episodes as they're dropped, head on over to patreon.com and search up Unethical Podcast. That's our mother podcast. I was not aware Private Dicks was a spinoff. I'm going to renegotiate my contract. On Patreon is a full 16-episode season more of Private Dicks, uncut videos of each episode, and many more things are getting added all the time. You can also find all of Unethical's content on there, so go listen to that. And if you're already a patron, fuck yeah, dude. You're the best.